Hey everyone, we're going to apply the Pythagorean Theorem and talk about Pythagorean triples. This video is more about definitions, examples, and theorems. So basically, for vocabulary, a Pythagorean triple is a set of three positive integers, A, B, and C, that satisfy this equation, which actually comes from the distance formula. So this comes from the distance formula. So I have another video on that. And here's your Pythagorean theorem. So, again, comes from the distance formula. Your c squared is here. That is basically your distance. And your a is the difference of your y values. And your b is the difference of your x values. And these are called legs. And the diagonal here is called the hypotenuse. So here's an example. So the hypotenuse, which is your c squared, equals your leg squared plus your leg squared. So here are your two legs, and you square them, and you take the positive square root. So when you take the positive square root of both sides, you get x equals 25. So this is actually a Pythagorean triple, which is 7, 24, 25, because it's three positive integers. They're perfect squares. Now, let's say, find the length of the hypotenuse if you have this. So you have 9 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. So that gives you 81 plus 144 equals x squared, which gives you 225 equals x squared. Take the positive square root, not the negative, and that gives you 15 equals x. And this is also a Pythagorean triple. You have 9, 12, and 15. If you divide these by 3, you get 3, 4, 5. And 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triple. And if you multiply that by 3, you get this. All right. So here's an example of we have this length here, and we want to find this length of the door. So that's what they're doing. They're doing 6 squared. Well, here it is. So you're finding this length here, x. And you always take the positive square root. So when you square root both sides, always take the positive because you're talking about distance. And then you use a calculator to approximate. So let's try this one. You have a 5-foot board, same thing, and it's 3.5 feet here. So how high is it? So we'll call that x, and is it feet? Feet. So all this is feet. So we're going to do it the same way. This is your c squared here. That's your hypotenuse. So we say c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So c squared is 5. And then we can call this 3.5 squared. And we'll call this the b part, so that's plus x squared. So subtract 3.5 squared. So you're going to get 25. Subtract this from both sides, minus 3.5 squared, which is 12.25, equals x squared. So you subtract that from 25, and you get 12.75 equals x squared. Now let's take the square root, the positive square root of both sides, and you get x is approximately 3.6 feet. All right, and here's another example. Here we have to find the area of the isosceles triangle with these side lengths. So you want to find the height. So to find the height, we first use the formula height. We first have to find this part here. So we have 8 and 17. So this would be 15 and 17. That's a Pythagorean triple. So we should know that your height is 15. Now they did it this way. But if you know your triples, you'd know that it is 15. Okay, so to find the area, you just do area equals 1/2 base times height. Now, when you take the base, they want this whole base. So area equals 1/2 of 16, because 8 plus 8 is 16, times your height, which is 15. And that's going to equal 120. And since we're doing area, that's 120 square meters. Another way to write it is 120 meters squared. All right, and finally, here's your commonly known Pythagorean triples. When we're going through this section, make sure you know these top ones right here, because those are the most commonly used. We've already used this one, and remember when we multiplied, we got this one. We multiplied this by 3. We used this, and I don't know if we used the others, but anyway, so here we have to find the length of the hypotenuse, and this is a bigger triangle. This was 24 and 45. We don't have it here, but you take the positive square root to use the Pythagorean Theorem, and you got x equals 51. Now we want to find the area of this triangle. So when you do that, we know the area equals 1/2 base times height. What we don't know is this height. So we're going to take half of 28, which is 14, and get that height. So this is 14, and this is 50. And so we know with our triples, if you have 14 and you have a 50, your 50's, the hypotenuse is always your bigger number. If you divide this by 2, you get 7/25. So this would be 24. So multiplying this by 2, that's going to give you your 48. So I'm using this one here. So this is 48. Now we can use our formula and know that it's going to be area equals, it should be equals 1/2 base times height, which is 48, and that's going to give you your 672 feet squared. And then use the triples to find this. So we have your bigger number is always your diagonal, your hypotenuse here. So right in order, 30, 40. And if you divide these by 10, you get 3, 4. And then if you see 3, 4 here, so this has to be 5. And 5 times 10 is 50. So this was multiplied by 10 to give you this number here. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.